Hey guys, so like I said in my last video, which any of you that are sticking around after you saw that, thank you. And we'll try to get back to our more positive self. We just got done with my mom's visitation and all of that. And again, maybe I'll talk about that some more in a different video, but I am trying to put my house back together. So I'm coming at you with no makeup again, no ring light. House is still in disarray. I still have like all of this stuff from my mom. It's just kind of like stacked, and my furniture is still not where it belongs, and there's just toys and just crap everywhere. But I was gonna vlog today anyway, and then I decided I'm like trying to get my house back in order. And so the last week, I want to say, I hope it wasn't happening while I had house guests and they were just too nice to tell me that I had bugs in my house. The last week I have noticed, I went to go take a bath and there were all these little teeny tiny, I mean the tiniest little, looked like baby beetles, but when I looked at them closer, they have like little snouts. They're actually kind of cute. They're tiny. Of course, like I will Google any and everything I want to know. So I started searching, and it's like they're weevils and they're different kinds, but those kind are probably like rice or grain weevils. And I had always heard of weevils when I was growing up. And for some reason it makes me think of like Winnie the Pooh, like heffalumps, and I don't know. That probably doesn't make any sense, but that's what I think of when I think of like weevils, is like something fictional almost, or I don't know, maybe I had them confused with like silverfish and earwigs. And we do get earwigs in our house, like on the ground level where it's just cement under the carpets. It was like an addition and it's low, and we do get earwigs that come in, and they seem to be like almost immune to when we get our house sprayed, when LA sprays the house. But anyway, these weevils were just in the bathtub, and they would be like clinging to the bath mat trying to get water. I haven't seen them in the kitchen or the pantry or anywhere, and I've been racking my brain trying to think where they are, where they're coming from, and what they're interested in, since it says that they come in grain and rice and wheat products and stuff like that that you have in your house. Just kind of like flour and stuff like that that can have like bug larvae, and so it's so disgusting. But usually you eat stuff before it hatches, and the reason you throw stuff like that out after it expires is to make sure that none of the like eggs hatch. You know, they're just in there kind of like dormant. And I thought about it, and I was like, well, the wall that borders the bathtub is like our entryway. And I knew I had bird seed stored in there, and I had it sealed really well, but I knew it was like unsealed from me filling the bird feeders up and stuff the last time. Anyway, I just opened the drawer in this little front table right here, and I saw the little baby weevils, and I've been trying to show Ellie what they are too, but every time I see them I kill them. So I just like grabbed the I'm gonna walk out here. Oh my god. That is the biggest stick bug I've ever seen, is crawling on the outside of my house. I had this bird seed in a junk drawer, and I just looked, and you could see through the bag, I could see them moving in there. There they go. Look at them. Do you see them? No, this is like super close up. Little weevils. And everything I read is like, if you get an infestation of them, you have to like hunt down the source, because like pesticides and stuff don't work that well on them. You see them? They're just in there. Okay, how disgusting is that? I'm so grossed out. I'm so glad that I found the source, and now I can eliminate them. I was just asking my aunt and uncle like if they had ever heard of such, and they probably thought that it was so weird that I was bringing it up. Ugh. Okay, so now that that's done, and if I had a lot of viewers, then I'm sure some of you would comment on how gross that was, and believe me, I know how gross it is. I had to go on a search. So now I'm gonna have to go through my pantry and my baking cabinet and make sure that none of those little jokers migrated through the house and got into my food. But all of my food is like All the stuff in my pantry is, that's any kind of grain or anything like that, it's totally sealed. Yeah, everything in my baking cabinet is sealed. Most of it in actual like containers with a seal, but you never know. I do have like cake flour in a box, but I'm sure like the flour on the inside I put in a sealable storage bag because I just super seal most of my stuff like that. Also today, my cousin, and she's my first cousin, and her kids though are so close in age to mine, and it's basically like their only little cousins. They have other cousins, but they're not like close to them. So one of them just turned 3. So I ordered her birthday presents, and I'm pretty excited about them. Let me show you what we got. So I ordered these off of Amazon. So this is the Melissa and Doug wooden slice and bake cookie sets, and it's really, really cool. I hope that she likes it. They have everything, so they're like really hard to shop for, just because I know that they will appreciate and love anything that we get them. They're like the sweetest kids, but I just, you know, don't want to give them something they already have and then they have to be like, oh, thank you. And, you know, I remember being little and getting like 3 doctor's kits and being like, oh, thank you. And my parents were like, don't you dare tell anybody you already have that. And then this Ariel, her mother was obsessed with The Little Mermaid when we were growing up. So I figure she'll like that, and her older sister, who is almost 7, will probably play with this with her. And it's got all of the outfits and it's magnetic. So I am gonna wrap those. I actually found these really cool gift bags that I had popped into Ross for, I don't know what I was looking for. It was when I was shopping for stuff for my mom's visitation, and I popped in there and just ended up grabbing random stuff for the house. But I love peacocks, like they're my favorite thing. Peacocks and Cocopellis are my favorite things. And they had these little gift bags, and it was just like a set of 3, and this little happy birthday butterfly. I figured my cousin's daughter, almost, I just want to call her my niece, her birthday gifts. So I don't know if they will both fit, but I think one of them will fit in one of these cute bags. So I got those. And I also found this, I'm not trying to do a haul, but I need to do something here. I feel like I've been gone for so long. I also got this cool galvanized tray stand, and it's not like tiered with like a bigger one on the bottom and then, you know, like most of them that you see, but I actually like this better because it won't take up as much room on my island. And I've had to move all of my decor that I used to keep on my island. I've had to move it because Blair has a kitchen stool, the toddler kitchen stool, and we have it propped at the end of the island, and she stands up there to eat all of her food. And she just kind of grazes throughout the day on her meals. But while she's up there, she'll reach for stuff, and I don't want her to accidentally knock over. I used to have like a ceramic cookie jar that was an owl cookie jar, and like a big 3-wick kitchen candle. And I've had to move those, and so now it just looks so plain. And then I had like a big black wire basket that was for fruit, but it only ever had like a couple pieces of fruit on the top of it, and the rest of it ended up being like a big junk drawer in the middle of the island, which is super annoying. And like sweets and like pieces of, like if Blair ate like half a granola bar, and her daddy would stick it in a little Ziploc and it would end up in the basket, or Debbie cakes, or just random junk though, like just random things. Like if we got something from a restaurant and there was like to-go silverware, it might end up in there. It was just, so anyway, with this I can still put my fruit on it, and I might line it like with some doilies or something. I'm not a doily person, but for the purposes of this, that seems like they would actually be perfect and serve their purpose, which is to line things, I think. But I feel like with this we can put like her snacks and fruit, and then still have a tray to maybe put something decorative, or I don't know, maybe we'll have a junk tray, but I think it'll still be more organized than what was there, and it'll match some of the other galvanized metal pieces that I have in my kitchen. I also have a whole table full of stuff from Target, from the Dollar Spot, and then from their Easter decorations that Ellie went and bought. I sent him to look for bows for the girls for their dresses. That's what I was looking for at Ross. And he came back with all of this stuff, and he's like, you might want me to send half of it back, I don't know. And a lot of the little crafts or things from the Dollar Spot, he, you know, like little $3 and $5 little decorative things that you make yourself. He got 2 of each. And I guess because we have 2 little girls now, but Brexley can't do any of those things yet, and Blair can do those things, but the outcome's not really where we'd like it to be. So I think some of those I'm gonna pack away for next Easter season, when Blair can like really do all the things very well, and her sister can do it a tiny bit and she can help her. But I think I'm gonna maybe put on some makeup later, or maybe tomorrow, and film a haul of that. And this is just gonna be a little chit chat vlog that, you know, I don't know if very many people will watch or not, but just to ease back in. That's why Ellie said about the Target stuff. He said, because you need stuff to make videos about. Because it's hard when you get derailed from your schedule and what you're working on. For me at least, it's hard to just jump back in. And everything that we've had going on, I haven't been filming because I didn't want my mom to be laying in her bed and then see me sad. And I knew I wouldn't be able to mask like the stress and anxiety and just overwhelming sadness that I had been feeling, and obviously I'm still feeling now, but I'm trying to just deal with that part of it one day at a time and keep it moving. And you guys are just gonna have to bear with me because I'm sure I'm gonna process it. I'm sure it's gonna come up a lot, so if you don't want to hear about that, then you'll have to tune away. That's all I got to say about that. One of the arrangements that a friend of the family actually sent was this. It's like an artificial, it's so pretty. It's like a little log vase, but it's actually real wood and bark. It's not fake. And this is like a little, I guess it's like burlap is what it feels like, but it's, I don't know, what would the proper word be for that though? Because it's like a loose woven, I'm sure it's probably still burlap, but it's like loose. And it's a little cotton arrangement. And it's got these feathers in it, which I really like. And it had this on it, which is my mom and dad's dog. Just so sweet. And it had like a green bow over the top of this that I took off because it just wouldn't fit in my house. And I don't know if this, I have to find a perfect place for this because it goes up kind of tall. So where I wanted to put it, it won't work unless I mean, I could like cut this, but because it was for at my mom's visitation, I don't want to alter it. I already did take a bow off of it. And then the woman who sent that, her sister, who is my aunt's best friend, my aunt that I've mentioned previously, who like, she was here with me through taking care of my mom and couldn't have done it without her. And she was here with me when I gave birth to Brex and took care of me. Then her best friend sent this also. So my mom and dad's dog is a black lab, and my mom, even when at the very end when she was kind of on a loop asking about people and everything and just making sure everybody was going to be taken care of, she kept asking about her dog. But my aunt's bestie sent this, and she was friends with my mom when they were young girls as well. And it's so pretty, and the blue, shades of blue and green and stuff that are in there will match some of the colors. Like I have a quilt in my room that's very bohemian looking, that it's got all the different colors in it, and so I think I'm gonna keep that on my bed because I don't want it to get messed up or anything to happen to it, or I would put it in the playroom. So we also brought this home to plant, and I'm not really that great of a gardener. Actually, I wouldn't say I'm a bad gardener by any means, because I used to keep a full garden, and I grew all kinds of vegetables and stuff, and I used to have all kinds of flowers and stuff in the yard at my previous house. But in that yard, my whole backyard was full sun. We had lots of trees in the very back, like lining the property, but not all over the property, and our neighbors did too. Everything was like trimmed and well taken care of, and just, we didn't have like any of the huge trees that are like shade trees, so it was easier. And I had a hydrangea bush there that was like blue and purple, and it depends, I've read, on the acidity in your soil, on whether the blooms are blue or purple. It's like the acidity in the soil, and I think you can actually buy stuff to add to your soil to change the color if you want to, which is kind of cool. But I don't think hydrangea bushes need that much sunlight. Comment down below if you know, but if not, I will be Googling. I mean, my yard is full of like grand oak trees, and so I have zero sun in my front yard. I mean, there are just certain patches that get direct sun during the day, but it's for such a small time frame, I wouldn't try to plant anything out there. It is full of azalea bushes and different kinds of azaleas and other things that, you know, definitely grow. And I mean, but some of those things have probably been there 50 years because it's an old house. So it's probably stuff that they planted when they first built the house. And I haven't really tried to put anything new out there. I mean, I always have plants like on the porch and stuff, but I just haven't done any landscaping and planting. Really, because we bought this house, and then immediately after we bought this house, and that was in the summer of 2015. So we were pregnant before Blair, and we miscarried, and that was in 2014. Married in 2014, and then we wanted to start trying to have a family right away. Got pregnant, miscarried, and then it took us a whole another year to get pregnant with Blair. And in the meantime, we decided to move, and we bought this house and moved in and stuff. But then when I got pregnant with Blair, I mean, like, the whole dining room in this house was still full of boxes. Like, when I nested during that pregnancy, I mean, I had some stuff to nest with. Let me just tell you, like, this place was a train wreck. It still is, but to think how bad it must have been then in comparison. And I had a hard pregnancy with her, and then, you know, she was not that old when we got pregnant with Brexley. So by that point, we had worked on stuff with the inside of the house and like organizing and trying to, not really decorate it still, but like some of it is. It was all we could do to do the maintenance and stuff, honestly, outside. And then every hurricane season since then, we've been hit. And since then, we've been just hit with extreme weather every year. So we had like a 100-year flood. Before that, we had tornadoes come through, and we didn't have any damage to our house from that, but our fence came down. So we had to work on that. And then we had a 100-year flood that, you know, luckily didn't do any damage to the inside of our house, but again, like outside. And then we've had a hurricane hit us, direct hit. But thankfully it was like small by the time it hit us. But it like took trees down and did all of that anyway. And then we've had hurricanes brush us and just miss us, and tropical storms hit us since then. And we had like an epic snowstorm that was like nuts, that stayed for like a couple weeks, which never happens here. So we have just been, hi. Yeah. We've just been doing all we can to just like handle that little bit of maintenance, and haven't done any landscaping at all. It's all my husband can do to get out there and cut the grass, honestly. He works so hard, and even the little bit of time he has off, he is busy working, helping me in the house and taking care of babies and taking them to do stuff. Anyway, that's our huge rant. And now I've got to plant this flower, and I do not want it to die because, you know, it's like this symbolic thing, and it's, you know, so I've got to make sure I find a spot that has just the right amount of sun. All right, my daughter's a blueberry junkie. I've got to get some more blueberries out. So baking cabinet is clear, and the food pantry, which is really disorganized, is clear too. But you know, like I said, everything in my house is sealed well like that. But that doesn't mean it's going to be protected. But I haven't seen any of those little weevils in the kitchen or in the other bathroom. So I really think it's just, they were just able to hatch right there and then, I don't know, smell water and go under the wall, basically, right to the bathtub. And then I noticed them pretty immediately. There's nothing, and there would be, but there's pecans in there, and Brexley went for her allergy testing, for those of you who are following, and saw that she was allergic to carrots. And the skin allergy testing didn't register for carrots on that, so we're having blood drawn next week to send off for another panel to make sure that the carrots was just a sensitivity and not an allergy. But she is severely allergic to eggs. That's a new thing that I don't think I've told you guys that's happened since I've been gone the last month and a half. Maybe it's gonna be 2 months total by the time I get back on. And that sucks really bad. And she popped for pecans, which I grew up with pecans and eating pecans like crazy, and pecans are probably the one thing that I didn't really eat during my pregnancy with her. The allergist is thinking that maybe that she's not truly allergic to it, because she would have expected it to show up as a larger welt place if she was truly had that nut allergy. So I think there might have been some cross-contamination between the eggs, and that she's just that severely allergic to the eggs. So we did have to get EpiPens, and you all know how expensive those are. And when I was little, I had like this mysterious allergic reaction to insect stings, and they never figured out what it was. And instead of putting like a 2-year-old through that, they just prescribed an EpiPen for Blair as well to be safe. And you know, name brand EpiPens are anywhere from $500 to $1,000 these days. And Brex's was like this special order, and it comes with 2, and it would have cost us probably $1,000. And they couldn't like just fill it at a regular pharmacy. It's that special. That prescription was called, and it's actually the day my mom died. And like, I had just gotten up from laying down after they came to get her and everything. And we get the phone call that the manufacturer was paying for Brex's EpiPens, and that they were giving us an extra one, and that they were paying for them, no charge, and that they would send them in the mail and they would get there the next day. And I was like, whatever, I'll believe that when I see it. And I'm still waiting to make sure we don't get a bill from that, but they came the next day, and it wasn't like our insurance kicked in for that, because our insurance is all set up where your deductible is tied in with your prescription. So until your deductible for the year is met, which our huge family deductible has not been met, you have to pay full price. So I don't know, I felt like, thanks Mom, like good looking out, because we didn't apply, and it was like a financial assistance through the manufacturer, and I don't feel like we would have gotten approved for that, for financial assistance if we would have applied. But I know the manufacturer of EpiPens is trying to make themselves look better for charging so much for them, and et cetera, et cetera. So I know they've put things in place to make themselves look better. So cheers to them. That did help them look better in my eyes, that they did pay for that. Now Blair's, on the other hand, we had to pay for because that came through our pharmacy. But I think that's only gonna be like $250 for her pen. And it's on back order though. It's the generic, and it's the generic one for $250. And it's on back order. I'm like, okay. So, and that's been over a week. So we're still waiting on that before I feel totally comfortable like letting her play outside freely and all of that, because like the wasps and the bees and they just don't know what it was that caused mine, and I went into anaphylactic shock twice. It was really bad. I have very clear memories of how bad that was. So anyway, here's what, I just like wiped this out with some Honest Baby multi-surface, because food touching it and stuff. Allie just grabbed these for me. I know most of you guys are probably on the natural cleaning kick. I still love my Clorox wipes to make sure all of the germs are killed on things, and these smell delicious. you are supposed to go behind them and rinse with water on any surfaces that are going to touch food. So just washed this cup that I got at Ross that I wasn't going to get. And I was like, again, hearing my mom's voice, like, no, you should get this and you should wake up and be awesome and be positive. So I did.
Hello emotions, hello again. As every ocean come as rain, I know my circles, I know my name.